fighting one person here, Aggie. Me and Aggie are going at it for who can get the most ice cream right now.
It was.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like starting a podcast with a dead fly and blood all over your notes.
You know what? It's better than having a live fly in the room the entire time.
I actually didn't realize that you had that much violence in you.
I thought you were going to say skills. It was pretty impressive. I just killed a fly.
So I walk in
with my bare hands and a sheet of paper.
I usually print out. We have like a couple little bullet points, let us kind of keep us on track and everything. And it's got two sides, and we usually just use the table and we cut it down the side. And she grabbed my paper.
Oh, you can't see it.
Smashed, killed this fly, and I was like, "Those are your notes now." Like, so I gave her the bloodstained notes. It's like
it's unfortunate,
almost like a Spartan victory over there.
It's actually right over.
It's like red. It's right over Caleb. So, Bree, when we get to that, just know that there's blood on Caleb's name here. So. When we get to that part of the segment, speaking of just excitement and just like energy and screaming, I was out getting at Restaurant Depot getting supplies for our dusted seasoning and stuff, and we were inside there, and I'm walking, and there's a guy out in the parking lot, and he's banging on his car and he's screaming. He's like, ah, ah.
Oh, he was so angry.
And he's just screaming and screaming. I'm like, man. And it's one of those things where, like, when someone's behaving that way in public,
you're like, what's about to happen?
You're like, okay. And I'm like, I'm not even joking. I started getting out of the car, went back in the car, pulled my Glock out, slid it in my pants.
Oh, my gosh.
Because you just don't know. Right. And it's just like, it's like, I want to be, it's all about personal protection. Right. And I'm not sure if this guy's psyching himself up to rob the Restaurant Depot, which he's probably going to get a whopping like $12 from, because everyone swipes a card there. It's not like you have people with cash, like
that
they're
are
buying
like
for
putting
restaurants.
it in the register.
So they're not paying with, well, they could be paying. No, they're pocketing cash, man. So restaurants are pocketing cash and they're going to the Restaurant Depot and paying with credit.
Anyway, this guy was angry.
Then this guy gets in the car. And he starts grabbing the steering wheel and shaking his head and like beating his head.
Oh my god!
And screaming, and I can hear him like if you just started screaming, I could hear him that loud from outside his car as I'm walking in.
Like, how far away are you?
20 feet.
Oh my gosh. That's probably, I mean, I didn't really, but it was like an out-of-body experience for me. If what was going on in my head was happening externally outside my body, that probably would have been me at Walmart today when I picked up an extra propane tank because we ran out of propane in the middle of a cooking video.
I know.
Literally, staff on set,
the best
camera set up, meal half made. I mean, this is like, and this is not the first time. And everybody listening, I know you can relate if you're like into even half of your adulthood here. You have had people over to your house for a big family dinner and you're all ready to cook. You've been prepping all day and like you're out of gas on the grill. And you're either trying to think of a different method or someone's running to the corner to get a propane tank.
I could say like I told you so on this one. And
no, I knew we were low. You ordered extras.
Well, not only did I order, but it's like you literally said to me, you said, hey, we were doing videos yesterday and the can, it was condensating. And I literally said to you, I said, that means it's low. It's low.
I knew it was low. Did I not say? I'm looking at Maria right now.
And
did I not say today?
I can't even believe that you would start one without having reserves.
Because you ordered them. Hello, we're on a budgeting podcast here. I was like, we've already paid the money to get some additionals in-house. Let's pray to the gods. Whatever you believe in, sprinkle some fairy dust on the grill. You know what? Here's the thing. I literally said, we are not turning this thing on and heating it up until we're ready to use it. And sure shit.
When you turned it on, you got stuff cooked and it stopped.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. Whether when you're doing when you have small business, when you're a business owner, right? And when I say small business, and if you're not cranking out a couple million, you're a small business. Okay, so when you're
really just downplayed,
guess
900,000.
All of you are small businesses, right? It's just the way it is, right? Until you get to a couple million, even then, technically, you're small business, and until you get around.
Look, I felt like when I was selling lemonade on the corner for 50 cents as a child, you were
a small business.
No, I had a big business.
No, you were starting.
No, everyone stopped.
No, you
for
were
my
startup.
Lemonade.
Did you continue that all year long? Did you fail? You were startup.
What? No, I mean I was seasonal.
That's funny. That's hey, way to cover. We had a seasonal business there. We had to shut down for the winter. You know,
Especially
can't sell cold lemonade
especially
in
in Michigan. I know,
In
we could have done
Michigan.
slushies. That would have been an idea.
I'll tell you what, that would have been an entrepreneur. It's like, hey, summertime's over. We're not selling ice cold lemonade. We're selling lemonade slushies now.
I know, but no one wants them. They're freezing their
Is
asses
there such
off.
thing as hot lemonade?
No, I mean, there's like hot apple cider, you know.
I guess that would be the alternative.
Yeah.
To like a cold
I love a
lemonade.
good spiked cider. See, that was a winter drink in Michigan. You'd be tailgating in the fall, put some Captains
We went
and
there
some
with
cider.
your cousins. We went to an apple farm or an apple
Yeah,
cider
yeah, we
place,
went to the cider
donuts.
mill.
Love that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But anyway, we were speaking of small businesses and these things, they happen. But we love small businesses. In fact, we were just at the farmer's market this last weekend for the first time in I
In a
can't even
while.
tell you how long.
yeah, it's been probably a couple months
Yeah.
at least.
And we went to,
The empanada lady.
well, we did go to the empanada lady. Yeah.
Oh, do we go somewhere else first?
I was going to talk about the honey, but it's okay.
Oh yeah. Talk about the honey.
No, now you brought up the empanada lady.
Well, I actually put honey in my. So my sister had actually told me, she's like, you really need to switch to local honey, and she said the difference between store bought honey, that's just like your generic brand, is that it's blends from all over the country. If you get local honey, you're getting local pollen, local flowers, and allergens. And so if you get local honey, it'll actually help you with if you have allergy problems.
Which every human being in Florida has allergy problems.
Yeah, I mean, I had horrible allergies as a kid. I'm way better today than I
Probably because
ever
you've
was.
built up immunities. But people, even traveling, it's like, you know, I've got friends and aunts and uncles that come here and they're like, the minute we get to the state, our eyes are watering. Like, it's just, it can be really intense here depending on how the flowers are blooming and what the pollen's like. But this woman was incredible. She had a bunch
she
of
knew
different
her
variations
bees.
and she was like, this is from, like where they had pollinated the flowers. She was like, this is from this road to this road. Like she was giving us
She
like
was,
county
like,
roads.
giving us
and we were like,
addresses.
we're going to need the downtown version. We
We're
did.
like, where's the rich honey at? Do
No,
you charge
it
extra for
is
the rich honey
not.
or the poor honey? Or
No,
the,
it was nice because the honey that was the one that we needed based on the
so
geographic
am I going
region.
to get in trouble if I say like ghetto honey?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to try me some ghetto honey.
You want to get yo honey?
I'm gonna get yo honey, honey.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. It's late in the day. We're full of really bad.
Yeah, we've had to push the
dad
podcast
jokes.
back, so we're
Yeah,
we're
due
already
to
like
the
stressed
due
and
to
pushed
the
back
grilling fiasco. In fact, not only was it a delay today, but
didn't
it
have
was
a
a
chance to
rollover
change.
from yesterday. No, I know. I'm like disgusting. It's
And
okay.
no, you look great. I love that shirt.
Yeah, I do love the shirt. I'm just saying, there's blood, sweat, and tears that went into this,
Yeah,
or at least sweat.
there's some sweat, and thank goodness we don't have a live studio audience.
I know, but the empanada lady, we were impressed because she had a new at the farmers market.
Yes,
They sweat when they're getting the
And you know
empanadas
what?
ready, and in the
I
summertime,
remember seeing her when we went to the Lakewood Ranch.
to the waterside one. Yeah,
I do remember seeing the trailer, but
Yeah, yeah,
anyways, it's still new. But one of the things I love about small businesses, business in general, is just seeing companies grow. And in their case, there like people line up. There's very few places in the farmers market that actually have a line. The empanada lady has a line.
all the time.
I mean, it's at
down the
least,
street.
No, it's like 8 or 9 people, and it moves relatively quickly.
Bull. I've been there before where there's been no joke, 15 to 20 people. It depends on the time.
Okay, well, we're not
They've
selling.
passed
We're not
the
selling.
flower
It's
stand.
not like an iPhone line.
No.
Have you ever stood in a line before?
Me? No, I'm not one of those people. I don't
Okay.
really care. It's
I
like
had
Black
never-
Friday. People like camp out. People want a
know.
video game. I'm like, I'm more likely to wait for an empanada for 2 days than I am a video game or a
I'm
sale.
not joking. There was one time, it was my birthday, and Nintendo was coming out with this little console that had every Nintendo game on it.
I'm so scared to ask how old you were.
Oh, I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. and so I was sitting here going,
We're not,
know what?
by the way.
I was 38. And so I'm literally like, you know what? I've never stayed in line before, and I was up late and I wasn't tired. It was like 10 o'clock, and I'm looking here and I see this article and it's like, hey, the Best Buy is going to have a limited number of these things, and they're going to be $20 all over the country, and it's on my birthday, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go wait in a line. Like, it's my birthday. I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. So I got in the car and I went.
By yourself?
Yes, by myself.
Oh my gosh, you would think
And then
that
I
sounded
get
like
to the
fun.
Best Buy. I get to the Best Buy, the one down 41 here. And I get there, and sure shit, there's like 12 people there. and they got chairs and stuff. And I'm like, oh damn, I didn't bring a chair.
Rookie.
like a rookie move. Did not bring chair to stand in line.
Rookie mistake.
But there was like a little ledge there, and people were sitting down Indian style and hanging out, and some guys had music and playing games, and it was so cool. Like standing in there and talking to the people in line. It was like if we had a barbecue and we could have barbecued at midnight outside of the Best Buy, waiting for a game controller. Like that would have been sick.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's the only line.
Okay, you're onto something there. Maybe we should figure out where the next big line is going to be and then show up with a grill.
Up. This sounds like a great video.
Snap.
And just say, we're going to grill.
Yeah,
This is why we bring up random stuff on the podcast. Because you never know.
Coming up with ideas. But we went, the empanada lady, where we were talking about, it is very hot in the Florida summers, especially if you're cooking. Even in our studio, I mean, the business has air conditioning, but the warehouse studio side is less conditioned. And so it does get hot. I was sweating earlier this morning, but the empanada lady got that brand new truck last year, and they use it in the summertime because it's so hot to like work a farmer's market and be using ovens and putting things in and out. But we were so excited for them to have like gotten the new vehicle. It was like huge and had really nice branding. And so there we were listening to what they had to say about how the business has grown and admiring their truck. And we were eating our empanadas, and literally like both of us,
they like squirted.
It was almost in unison, but we both squirted empanada grease and juice all over our clothes.
And I was wearing a white shirt. If you own white shirts, you only own them for like a week.
No, I literally was going through my closets. Oh, well, this is a whole nother thing. I'm cleaning out my closets right now, and it's devastating because there's so many clothes that don't
closets.
Closets.
She only has one closet.
Yeah, I do. Closets and drawers. But anyway, what I was going to say is there was a white dress that I wore to work once, and I was at work. It was a brand new dress. It was like a statement piece, and I
think I know the dress you're talking
I'm sure
about.
You do, but it was well worth the moment. But
I think you wore it for me, actually.
Probably. But within an hour and a half, I spilled my coffee on it.
Yeah,
and I was like,
that.
well, there goes.
You're like, oh, like.
I was like, I knew I couldn't wear a white dress to work. Like, what was I thinking?
How many times do you wear white and then you show up and you're like, I knew we were having spaghetti. Like,
well, but also
I knew we were going to Italian.
I could eat spaghetti 1,000 times and not spill on myself. Just like I probably not spilled coffee on myself ever until I wore that white dress.
That's what I'm saying. Whenever you wear white, you're going to show up to that event that's going to destroy the clothes that you're on.
It's so true.
It is guaranteed. The universe is aligned.
But white is the sharpest color. Anyway, you were wearing one of my favorite shirts of yours, and I was in my Lululemon leggings, which is no shocker since that's literally my wardrobe. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just different colors of leggings, but it was one of my favorite pairs, and I was so worried because you guys, I can't get stains out of clothes. I'm like a grown-ass woman that still is like, oh, Mom, I'm going to see you next week, and I've got like 3 items I need you to fix. But I tried with the Tide pen, I did my best. I don't really know if there's any tactics.
You did okay. What? I'm just saying.
I'm just not a homemaker in that way.
What's so funny is that when something disastrous goes wrong,
I just throw it away.
I look over to Beck and I go, hey, do you think your mom could get this out? Like, that's what I totally default to is like.
Because he knows I can't. Yeah. Laundry's not my thing. Yeah. It's just not my thing.
Do
I do laundry? Yes, but I'm not good at it. Like, I've borrowed clothes from friends before, and they'll literally be like, do not even attempt to wash this when you're done. Just bring it back to me so you don't ruin the entire piece.
That's love. That's love right there. You're lucky. You're so lucky.
Well, no, because I ruin my clothes all the time.
I know. It's funny.
That's why I just don't buy nice things. I'm not that kind. I like eating nice things, but I don't. That's why I don't buy nice things.
What about if you, did we wear white when we went to Mexican the other day?
I don't know, but that was wild. Oh my gosh. Speaking of being hot, you guys. So, okay, we went out to dinner the other night. So my parents are going to Michigan, and we're actually going to Michigan too. Next week we'll be remote on the podcast
for the
first
podcast
time.
Next week.
But my parents were headed to Michigan, and you guys know we've talked about this birthday list. And last time we were talking about how they had purchased some items, and Chris secretively went into the note and deleted the items that had been purchased and checked off, so I wouldn't
secretively
know.
do it.
Well, I
You
asked
literally
you to
looked
do
at me
it.
and said, "Would you please delete?"
No,
the
like in a
things that
good
were
way,
marked
like
that
without
were-
me knowing which ones you were marking off. But anyway, we showed up. I don't even think Maria knows this yet. She's very invested in my birthday list too. But we went out to this dinner.
We got to this
And we were
dinner.
just meant to like be seeing them before they left for Michigan because they go for a couple of weeks.
Well, we hadn't seen them because they were Waitress sisters. They
Yes.
were in town for
Well,
like less than a week.
I know.
So we wanted to touch
They're very
base.
busy. They're so popular.
They're jet setters.
I know, it's crazy. But anyway, we show up to this restaurant and there's a happy birthday bag on the table. And I was
Yes.
confused. I'm like, are they going somewhere after this? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Well,
It's just rain.
rain. So they have a birthday bag on the table. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, it's for me. And my mom's like, she literally said, well, we heard the podcast and knew that you could see the note with things we had checked off. So we figured we'd just give you the things now. And I was like, what? My birthday is not for another, I mean, legitimately a month and a half. Like, it's a ways off.
So wait a second here. They said that at the beginning? I
Yeah,
must
yeah,
have
yeah.
missed that. I must have been sweating too much.
Oh yeah, because that
there's
was
no
the
air
other
conditioning
thing.
in the restaurant.
We've been dying to try this new restaurant. It's a brand new place that opened up, and we show up, and this restaurant is like no air conditioning. They're
And
like,
it's super hot.
sorry, we're really trying to get it fixed. I mean, it's hot as balls. I'm sweating. It's all of a sudden my
I asked for a
birthday. I was
discount.
not
They said
anticipating
no.
it to be my birthday. Now everyone's looking at me going like, this is what this girl wore for her birthday
And what's
dinner.
so funny
Like, it
is
was
that
just
she
like
looks
so.
over and she goes, "We've called everyone and we just can't get anyone to come out." And I'm like, "Yeah, we own a temp AC company.
Oh, I know.
Like, we're at your table."
Yeah, that was what the waitress was saying. So they do the table side guac, right?
Yeah.
And this guy who's doing the table side guac,
I mean, I wouldn't quite call him a guy.
okay, this boy.
Okay, they're
There's
young
static.
man.
Do you hear it from the rain? I
It's just the
apologize,
rain.
everybody. If you can
Yeah.
hear the rain, it's pouring here in Florida. No surprise. But anyway, we're at this restaurant. Well, where the guy had to stand at our table to make our table side guac, he was in front of a fan. And if that boy could have taken any longer to make our guac, he was like, this is kind of nice. And I was like, well, I'm kind of starving. So I get that, like, you're trying to cool off here, man, and like
What's so
smash
crazy
this
is,
avocado
like,
for an hour.
They made
but-
this avocado and it was like room temperature and it didn't taste bad.
because the place
But there was
was hot
something
as
to my. I was
balls.
kind of like, I kind of like cold guac. Like, like I felt like you just like, I don't know, set this outside for a half hour and just like brought it in. It was like, hey, have some guac.
Not only was
Have
the
some
place warm,
overwarmed
I can't
guac.
even imagine how the guys felt in the kitchen at that place. You know what I mean?
100%.
They're sitting there
Yeah,
trying to
they
make
would've
it.
been-
But so, okay, you guys, so the presents on the table, I'm already like, this is a lot, right? But our waitress was very sweet and she got to know us. No one asked for anything. I do know that for a fact because in the end, our waitress was like, I
No,
saw
no.
the bag.
I called it. I said in the beginning, I said, we will get a free dessert. 'cause
You
this
guys,
bag's here.
when I tell you 25 employees came out of that back room, I mean, they had sparklers.
Okay.
Like
And
up at the top. I am not
They were
exaggerating.
sparklers.
These people were clapping. I must have jumped 5 feet out of my chair. It scared the shit out of me. And they were all singing me happy birthday. And you guys, it's a month and a half before my birthday. Like, it took me a minute to be like, holy shit, this is for me.
And here's the crazy thing about the story. They come out, and I think 25 was a little bit too many. But I shit you not. They have sparklers, and they're singing, and they sing her happy birthday in English. And we're at a Spanish-Mexican restaurant. And so at the end, I go, okay, in Spanish now.
I was ready to kill him. I was ready to kill him.
Now, I had a couple margaritas by then.
Oh, this
Here's
man.
my thing, right? It's like, cumpleaños de
Oh my God, stop.
right?
Wow.
Isn't that kind of sort
Feliz
of?
cumpleaños a ti.
Ati.
Wow.
Like, come on.
He just
how
butchered
hard-
that, and
how
Maria's in the room.
hard-
I'm embarrassed for you.
How hard would it have been to sing us 2 lines in Spanish at a Mexican
They
restaurant?
didn't know it. They probably would have done
It
exactly
should
what
have
you
been a
just did.
requirement.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's the first thing
Well,
we
I'm
learned
traumatized.
is do not have
Traumatized.
expectations of getting happy birthday sung in
Okay,
Spanish.
but also,
Number 2, if you want free dessert, bring a bag that says happy birthday to the restaurant. There's probably a good, I think we should test this.
we were joking
the next
because
5 times we go out to dinner, let's bring a happy birthday bag.
no, not 5 times. It's very uncomfortable. We're gonna have to make it your birthday next time because that was enough
I
for
will
me
bring it,
for like
and
the
we'll
next.
say it's my birthday. And we're
Anyway.
going to go to 5 different restaurants, And then we're going to say, how many of the 5, right, did we get a free thing? And we'll be like 60% of the time. So
This is the best budgeting advice we've ever offered.
This is our budgeting tip for this podcast.
Bring
is if you want free dessert.
And don't put a present inside of it, just tissue paper.
Yeah, just a tissue paper, maybe a book. Put a
that
book
you
in tissue
already
paper
own.
And bring it there and be like, yeah, and then just see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. But here's what I'm going to say, okay? I am not a dessert person. You know this. Like,
Yes.
I am not into sweets. If we go to a restaurant, I'm never going to order a dessert. It's not worth it. This free dessert was some of the best shit
It was like a donut
literally
churro.
It was a donut churro.
Fluffiest, like churros sometimes are like biting
hard
a stick,
inside. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, thanks. But like this thing was like a donut.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. And it had vanilla ice cream.
It had the best flavor. It was like melty. Oh my gosh.
So they bring one and they bring like 4 spoons. And
Mr. 3 margaritas in is like,
I'm a growing boy. and like they put it in the middle. And of course, like I let Beck go in. She's like, she gets a piece.
You didn't let anyone go in.
So there's a top donut and a bottom donut and ice cream. So, I mean, look, like in all fairness, the top donut slides over towards your parents.
My mother massacred it.
She
went to take
massacring. I'm massacring. So there's 2 alphas in this group, right? Me and Ag. Me and Aggie we're alphas.
You know what you want.
We're going in.
And you get it.
We're decimating the dessert.
Well, I'm
we
pissed.
know what we want.
I was like, let my father have a bite of my fake free birthday dessert.
Picket person here. She's like, he needs a bite. He needs a bite. Like, you're like fighting for him to have a bite.
And he doesn't give a shit. He's so calm and relaxed.
I'm like,
everyone leaves the dessert alone, and my dad's like, I'll take a bite when I want
what he
one.
says is, he goes, I'll start when the feeding frenzy's over. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm going, feeding frenzy ain't stopping, bro. It ain't stopping. You need to jump into this fight because I'm fighting one person here, Aggie. Me and Aggie are going at it for who can get the most ice cream right now.
It was one of the best not birthdays I've ever had.
His best non-birthday ever. I'm going back for the different bag.
I would love to go back and get that dessert again. Of everything we had. I don't want our lukewarm tableside hour-long guac, and I don't want...
and the food was good.
Yeah, no, it was okay.
It was okay. I mean, nothing that, like, flavor-wise, like, blew my mind or anything.
No,
so
it was okay. But, I mean, it's always nice to go out sometimes instead of cook your own dinner.
It is. I mean, and you know what? I don't know if you thought about it because, we've talked about this on the podcast since we've updated our budgets is eating at home more. We have ate at home more. Do you think going out to dinner has become more special?
Yeah, and more, yes, absolutely.
More
something to look forward to, more enjoyable. Yeah, definitely. And it's like, I mean, it's so funny. Usually one or the other cooks. I think we've also gotten used to, when I used to cook at home, it felt like, oh, I'm cooking at home, so I need to make something extravagant. Whereas now it's like we can do just simple, gotta throw something together. I'm hungry. Like, what are we going to eat? You make some rice. I'm not allowed to make rice at the house.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Look, like a rice.
I'm a very
rice
good
cooker
chef.
is probably one of the most basic cooking devices. I mean, the only thing easier than cooking rice is boiling water. Okay, so with rice, you have a cup and you fill the cup up and you pour it in. That's 1 cup. It's not a cup, so it's not what they call a standard cup. It's a rice cup, and then inside of the bowl there's lines. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a little mini one, and then depending on how many cups you put in, you bring the water level to that line, and then you drop it in and you push 1 button.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I know how to do it.
Oh, I know. and so I'm not even joking when I say at least a half a dozen times, either the rice button never gets pushed, like I thought I was cooking.
Okay, but here's the thing. You plug the thing in, and like it automatically, the light turns on to yellow. And then you got to like actually like push the thing down in order for it to start. So one day I got all the right. I do need to call you for rice instructions at times. Like
so are you telling me like when you're sitting at the TV and the TV light's on, that you just think the TV's on?
I don't, but it is exactly like that. Yes,
exactly like it. It's
but
ready.
I didn't know. I wasn't familiar.
I
wasn't familiar. A TV has content. A rice cooker, it doesn't start having action for a while
and,
anyway.
I mean, there are some cool rice cookers, and it needs like a little electronic.
Look,
and
I've never been
buttons
good
and-
at cooking rice either on a stovetop, in a microwave,
Anyways,
or
I was
in a
getting the
rice
shower,
cooker.
and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna run down and make some rice before I get in the shower."
And I
That way
said,
I'll
"I'll
be
do it
done."
for you.
She goes, "I'll be done." I'm like, "No, we're good."
he
I actually want
literally,
rice.
he literally got dressed again to go downstairs and make his own rice because he didn't
my
trust
towel.
me. Yeah.
And then it fell off when I was walking back, and then you thought I was flashing you, and
Not me. We live in a townhome. We don't have blinds. I
Yeah.
don't know why you're telling the world this.
oh, I just thought it was funny. I don't know. I was making rice in my towel. It's cool. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, you certainly can. We're gonna get a notice one day of like indecent exposure in our
actually
own home.
We had a friend that came into town this week, and we met her for drinks on Monday.
MJ. I
And
was like,
speaking
who
of
are
the
you
rain,
talking
I'm
about?
staring out the window, looking at the rain, and I'm thinking of
my
the
gosh.
storm. And this is actually, I've seen lightning strike close to me probably 3 times in my life.
Really?
This was probably the closest that it's actually been to me. So
Terrifying.
We were sitting in a bar and had a big open area to the front, and it started
We
raining.
were right by the open area. It's
Yeah.
like glass doors. Like you can see straight outside. There's tables inside and outside. And there were people sitting outside
there were people sitting
under the
outside.
covered area
Yeah.
with a dog.
So they were probably 5 feet away. We were probably a good 30 feet away.
No.
And lightning struck the ground. It exploded in this thing of
No
light.
joke, you guys. It was like if someone threw a bomb at the restaurant
It was
you were in.
amazing. And then
Both
the lightning
noise
shot
and
down the street
it was
to
insane.
the right.
By the way, my hands must have been shaking for like 5 minutes. Like the immediate scare was over, but like I could not, like my whole body was like, you almost died. So
I know. I felt like there's so many movies where like electricity comes down and like flows through all the people. And
right.
shaking,
Everyone's like, oh my gosh. And that's how the bar was. Like, and everyone was so
And then half of
rattled.
us like went out because we're like, that's cool. Look at
By
this.
the way,
find
he says
damage.
half of us. Most people are inside shitting their pants. There's like 3 people outside. Like, where did it
The
hit?
3 men.
Yeah, Chris
got
was
up,
one of them.
Went out and inspected and made sure it was safe for the lady.
Checked out the situation. You are such a gentleman. I will say, we've talked about this before, but the guys, both with incredible parents who raised them well and from a military background in the military colleges, are such gentlemen. And it was raining that night. We had driven the golf cart there, so you actually drove the golf cart home, got the truck, and came back and got me, so I didn't get
Absolutely.
wet.
I didn't
He's
want
so
you to
sweet,
get
and
struck by
everyone was.
lightning or
I
get
know
rained
it was
on.
really dangerous conditions outside.
Yeah.
Super dangerous.
You know,
But everyone was like, "Oh my God, your husband's amazing." I was like, "I know, he really
Yeah.
is."
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're like, let's just have a moment of silence for
A
me.
moment of silence. Repeat that one more time.
You're amazing.
And one more time with a little bit more volume. No, I'm just teasing. The
Are you?
so no, I'm totally not. In my mind, I'm like, there's like, yay, like cheering and stuff on it. Speaking of
Rain? No.
Rain.
Well, we've been having a lot of discussions with Bree this week about wedding planning, and
oh yeah, so Bree's picked out.
we were coming
a
up with like,
venue.
yes, plan Bs if it rains, but I don't think it will rain at all on her wedding day. She
No,
picked a
they
good
have
time
a
of year.
plan B, and she was kind of explaining a couple different things, and we were just chit chatting, and we were talking about. Well, I wasn't talking to Bree about this. I was actually talking to you about it. Was it when I was talking about walking down the aisle?
No, you were talking to Bree.
Was I? Oh no, I was talking to. Bree.
We were on the phone with
Yeah,
her.
I had Bree on speakerphone, and we were chit chatting and stuff.
He was talking to her for a while and then came home and he was joking because Bree's
I was not
fiance.
joking.
Oh
So
my
so Bree's fiance, he just graduated college and he is wants to be a teacher, and so you can't apply for teaching jobs until you get the certificate. So basically, they give you like 2 months to find openings, right? I can only imagine how difficult it is to try to get a job if they won't let you apply or know about it. Now, I would have applied anyway. I would have said screw the rules, and I would have got myself out there, shook hands, did whatever.
You know what is crazy about that? Sorry, but you just said something that really rings so true to me. There were so many rules and regulations in life, like things that are like, you can't apply for this college until this time. Well, I applied early to all my colleges and I ended up getting in. And I had a lower GPA than some of the other people that didn't get in when they applied in the window because they waited or they just waited too long. But it was like, just the timing alone, like they're willing to like accept more people if you get in first. There were right after we had gotten married and I was changing my last name, Social Security was like, you need to be married for, I think it was like 60 days or something before you can even apply to get the social change. And I was like, that sounds like such a pain in the ass. I just want to get all this stuff done right now.
Yeah.
And I want my passport and I want my new social and all this stuff. And I did it like a week later. No one said you haven't met the requirements. Everyone's like, okay, cool. She's got her shit.
Yeah.
We'll give her a new
That's
name.
the thing is that I have a saying, and it's if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Well, that's not cheating. That's just like,
No, it's, what it
you're
is,
an
it's getting
overachiever.
ahead. You're trying to get, it's like, look, I hear the rules, and let's see if they actually stop me from doing what I want to do.
Right,
like,
exactly.
It's like,
and if they would have, I would have waited. Or at
Right.
least it was already
But
in the system, and then it's like, okay, flag it.
and at least try. Right?
I agree.
It's like, don't wait. Don't try to do whatever. And it's kind of like, oh, you need a permit to do that. It's like, okay, do I need a permit? I mean,
There's so
understand
many
why
people in
you
life,
need a
like
permit.
people like you were saying my mom and you are alphas. It's like if there was anything my mom wanted and someone was like, oh, you can't do that, my whole family would look at them and be like, oh no, Aggie will
No,
find
you
a
don't
way.
understand.
Like,
You don't
don't
understand
you
what's about to
worry.
happen.
Not sure what your rules and
Because something
regulations
crazy is
are,
about to
but
happen. So I was talking to Bree, and we were to go back.
yeah, we were talking about Caleb getting
and we were talking
a
about
job.
that, and so I asked her. I said, has Caleb got a job yet? And
Which, by the way, just let me again give some context. He has worked all summer at a
first of all,
summer camp.
we love Caleb.
We love Caleb.
So this is not a dig on Caleb at all. It's just a story of life.
He
and
thinks he's
reality.
funny as a father. That's what
And
this
no,
is.
no, I'm just a father. Who cares? So, and so I said, hey, okay, because it comes down to this, right? So what I told her was, I said, hey, would any dad let her daughter,
His daughter.
would any dad let his daughter, who's going to marry
Really confusing
someone
these days.
who's college educated, who has a great paying job, marry someone who's jobless? That is the question, right? So like remove all facts. And if we took a poll, I'm sure that what we would hear is like, no, we want them to have a job. Like that's,
You would, but also you'd
It's-
want them to be trying. Economical times make it sometimes difficult to find
again,
things,
it has
but
nothing to do with the situation. We're talking about
Anyway,
sex. So
he joked.
I said, all right, well, make sure you get on Caleb, make sure you help, da, da, da. And I said, I'll be asking this question throughout the year. And I said, and even the day you get married, like literally, we're going to walk you down the aisle and they're going to be like, who gives this, man to this? I don't know. Who gives this bride to this man? And I'm literally going to be like, Caleb, you got a job? And if he says no, I told Bree, I said, dude, they're turning around and we're sprinting out of there. I said, and people are like, everyone's gonna be like shocked and be like,
It's not going to happen because Caleb is going to. He's currently
totally gonna
employed
have a
and
job.
he's
yeah,
coming home.
He's working as a camp counselor.
That's very typical. I actually worked as a camp counselor when I was growing up. It was a great job when I was in college, and Bree did it too.
They listen to the podcast, so I'm just gonna say, Caleb, better get a job, buddy.
No, what you should say is stop the podcast and say, Caleb, we love you,
Caleb,
no matter what.
I started the conversation saying that. So
I know.
that
We got to round it out too. It's a shit sandwich.
It's a shit sandwich, right? Caleb, you better get a fucking job.
No, that's
it's sorry.
That's the word.
Where are we in the
It's other
sandwich?
word.
Are we at the beginning of the sandwich?
Okay, for those who don't know, a shit sandwich is something really nice. You sandwich in the shit, and then it's something really nice again. So the shit's in between. Okay. And I've been told my entire life I'm really good at delivering shit sandwiches.
You are. You are one of the best shit sandwich givers that I know. Okay,
You're
so I'm going to try this.
fucking it all up
I'm going
right
to try
now.
to give a shit sandwich. Okay.
Okay.
Caleb, we really love you. You better have a fucking job by the time you get married. You're a really handsome dude. How's that? Did that work?
First of all, technically it could be considered a shit sandwich, but a shit sandwich is amazing because the people don't know you're shit sandwiching them. Meaning it's like this entire like seamless conversation that's combined, and it's like something's going on. It's not a bad thing, but here's how we can be better. And at the end of the day, you're amazing in all these other ways. And it's like they just leave feeling so happy. Really, you're like,
okay.
do something
Should I try
about
this
it.
again?
No, we're done.
All right.
Shit
No, I'm
sandwiching.
going to say it. I'm going to try it one more time.
Caleb, I'm really sorry about all this.
You know what? I'm really happy that you're a part of our family and that you're treating Bree really well. It would be really, really good if you could have a job that could get her things. And I know that you'll get that job. And that job's coming. It's right around the corner, pal. And if you need any help with anything, I'm here to get you there across the finish line.
That's nice.
How's that?
That's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that was great.
I know.
You're a resource.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear Bree's reaction.
I'm actually so nervous. All I'm thinking about right now is poor Bree and Caleb.
No, first of all, I love these people so much. So
these people,
they know that. No, they know that. I love everybody. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I just read an article or listened to someone, and they said when they were talking about the difference between men and women and the bonds that they form. And men typically, if a man does not give another man a hard time, it's scientifically proven they do not have a good relationship. If men constantly challenge and make fun of each other, in a loving, it is part of the bond.
Yeah.
Women can't do that. If I look at you and I say, oh, that shirt could be a little nicer, you will literally begrudge that person, hate them, defriend them, unfollow, never call them again. Because you attach those words. It depends
on who you are. Like, and I think it's cultural too, and we could go down, into the weeds with this, but I do think that like in Europe in general, or even in South America, like I think that there's a very like quippy, whether it's family or friends, whether you're girls or guys. I do agree here in America, like girls can't take jokes like they can in other countries, but it's very normal for name calling to be lighthearted and like chummy, where it's like, you're my best friend, so I can call you a bitch. And I'm like that with my best friends, but I probably wouldn't sit there and like dig deep and be like, your outfit looks like shit. I mean, that sounds really mean.
How did we get off on this topic? I feel like we're so far off
I'm not sure.
budgeting into this.
Oh, budgeting. If you're getting married, have a job. If you're going out to dinner, bring a birthday bag so you don't have to have a job and you can get free desserts.
Yeah. If you're gonna be in the farmer's market, upgrade to the empanada truck.
Yes. No. Enjoy your local vendors. We love supporting local. That's for sure.
We do love supporting local. There's actually a thing called the Originals here in Sarasota, and what happened was and encourage anyone who's got a small town is to band together, right? And so they were almost like a little bit of a co-op where they would support each other and kind of fend off the chain restaurants a little bit, and support, all their advertising and efforts to drive businesses to the companies and the restaurants that are owned by people who live here. Yeah. And I've always loved that concept.
Yeah, me too.
And supporting.
You know me, I'm not into chain restaurants very much at all.
The only chain that I consistently.
Don't even say it. What are you about to say?
Well, now I'm thinking about all the ones that you said I couldn't say. So, you probably thought I was going to say Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad.
But I was actually going to say Starbucks.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Longhorn, and I was like, I gotta go.
Oh my gosh, no.
I'm really not a fan.
No. Actually, we shouldn't say that because we're propositioning them for Dustin. So we love Longhorn.
We love Longhorn. They're so good.
They're the best steak I've ever had.
Not ever.
The one of the things that. But anyways, what I was going to say is that probably we have a lot of local coffee shops. And it's not that I don't want to support them. It's just
I hear what you're saying.
Coffee can be so particular.
It's the one chain. I know, but if you go to the West Coast, people are like, you have Starbucks. Even though it originated on the West Coast has moved to like these different,
anti-establishment.
Yeah, they're very much so anti-Starbucks.
It reminds me of like the whole Nickelback thing. It's cool to be.
Who has watched that? Oh my gosh, we're like almost overtime anyway, but that is so wild.
Well, first of all, I'm a huge Nickelback fan. I never was on the hate Nick. I didn't understand the whole hate.
No,
Nickelback
I don't think
thing.
I understood it either.
And I was sitting here and I was wondering to myself, why? I don't understand why people do that.
I thought it was a good documentary, but I have heard people speaking about it after the fact, and it's interesting because it's like I think everybody shares the same opinion, where it's like not really sure how they got to where they got or where that came from. I definitely watching it felt bad that those people got a bad rap for not really any good reason at all. When they had so many hits and they were so big. But at the same time, I've heard people talking about it being like, I didn't feel like you watch it and you're like, oh my God, they're so incredible. I need to go support them today.
I think that any time that
although you did start playing
people,
it every day.
Well, here's the thing. It's like anytime ordinary people or someone comes out of nowhere, people automatically think that they just got lucky, they exploded, they're everywhere, and that they didn't have to work hard. The reality is that Chad Kroeger and his brother had to work phenomenally hard for so many years to get to where they were.
And they still are.
And the reason why they were so good is because they had so many hours of their craft. And, you know, when we look at business in general, like one of the things that I struggle with this. You actually see me struggle. You're probably the only person that actually sees the downside of my life as an entrepreneur, because when I'm in the real world, I never project or show any of the negative emotion.
Yeah, I agree
It is
with that.
always very positive. I'm very focused.
And
We're
it's
going to get
genuine,
there,
by the
etc.
way. It's not
And
like
it's
fake.
genuine.
It's just that.
But if anyone tells you that they can do that all the time, they're lying. And the reality is that as an entrepreneur, when you're doing it, when bills don't get paid, when checks don't come in, when sales don't hit expectations, when these things happen, when projects aren't hitting timelines, there can be these downs,
Stresses.
these
yeah.
stresses.
Missed expectations.
And, you know, as a couple, for us, like I only really have one person that I feel that I can actually expose that to. And you'll ask me, be like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, you know, haven't got sales for 2 days. Or
We
something.
both know each other pretty well. It takes a look to be like, what's going on? Nothing. Both of us, nothing. And we're like,
Nothing.
no, just share.
And it's like, just share, be like, yeah, this happened. It's really sucked. It's really, and then of course you're building me up and you're saying, what are you talking about? We have like all this amazing stuff that's happening right now. And,
Yeah.
and it's that reminder to me. And it's like, I know that's all happening. I know it's all amazing. But I'm living in this moment right now. And
I think
just need
that
to get
applies
through
to
it.
so many things. It applies to business. It applies to finding a job when you need one. I mean, we're sitting here, we were talking about Nickelback, but it also, I mean, Simone Biles, like her Netflix special is out right now. And she's worked her whole life for something so hard. She's going back to the Olympics to write the end of her story. But it's like, it's a roller coaster. There's like major ups and major downs. I was listening to a podcast the other day that was just incredible. But, you know, of someone who came from refugee camps and ended up being on Indiana Jones. And I mean, that famous actor, gosh, I can't remember his name right now, Kai something. But anyway, it's just crazy how life works. And I think in any one moment that can feel really heavy, there's always tomorrow or the next week, or, you know, you can dig deep to find the motivation to continue to move on or find the light or the silver lining. It's like, life is good. I mean, I'm a great example of that, just making some of the changes I've made this year. So,
Oh yeah.
having
it's
fun.
always good.
yes,
Should we end on a high then?
that is a high. I feel like that was it.
That was the high
Yeah.
right there.
If you're considering the fact that things are not going perfect today, just give it time.
Well, you know, tomorrow's
Find the
another day.
happiness. Celebrate the wins and the losses.
You gotta celebrate
they
the
all
wins.
help you learn and grow.
Keep going. Keep trucking on.
Do it.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
From Michigan.
From Michigan.